Okay, people, we need to talk about 2023 filing taxes.
Okay, so I am not a CPA. I'm going to make that very clear. But I have been filing my own, plus my parents, plus most of my family members' taxes for, about a decade now. I am an accountant. I am just not a CPA. Okay? Very clear to me for that. However, a lot of people didn't pay attention to all of the wording in the 2017 tax revision that was passed by Paul Ryan and Donald Trump. It's the Paul Ryan tax plan. Okay, so I'm not pointing this on Trump. This is Paul Ryan's baby. And this is what he spent most of his time in the House trying to pass since he got elected in, I think, like 2012. He was a Tea Party guy. This is his pet tax program. And I know everybody remembers them touting that they simplified the tax plan. They simplified the W-4. It's now, different. You don't put exemptions in. You fill out more like how your taxes are going to work. And then they touted it's going to mean less taken out of your checks. And so people were like going, oh, the withholding, you say you get, $6 or $8 or $7 more per check. But it gave huge tax cuts to the top tiers of the tax people. Like if you're making over 400,000, you got a ginormous tax cut. And that was the thing that a lot of economists were saying. They're like, hey, if we're giving all these super rich people tax cuts, someone's paying for this. And what people didn't notice was upper middle class got a tax hit, which most people didn't really care about because they were like, well, you're making like six figures. But these aren't people making $250,000 plus. These are people just barely managing to hit that 100K mark, right? But what they didn't pay attention to was the fact that the tax increase for you at the end of the year was a slider. So every year for 7 years, the upper middle class people got hit with the tax increase. And those were the people you heard that first year going, hey, I used to get a refund, but now I owe $4,000, and everybody kind of chalked it up to, oh, you couldn't write off as much of your house interest and you made six figures and you lived in California or New York. But every year that increase has slid down one tax bracket. So the upper middle class people or the middle class people, because 100K now, where, in this world is middle class. I hate to say that. In some places it's working poor. But every year they've added another lower tax bracket into that increase. And we have now hit year 7. Year 7 is when it hit the lowest tax bracket, which means everybody's been hit with the tax increase that is factored in to pay for the tax cuts for all the people making way up their money. My husband and I felt it. We are very fortunate. Combined, we make over $100,000 together. So we felt it that first year, and we have progressively owed more and more and more every single year. People in lower tax brackets now are starting to feel it. It started kicking in. There was a brief relief during COVID because they didn't tax unemployment revenue, and you didn't get taxed on your, I don't think you got taxed on your those payouts. We didn't get any because we made too much money. But all of that stuff was deferred for taxes until later. And now it's all kicking in. This is the 2017 tax plan, guys. This was in that bill. This was written in that bill. And it has been in effect since 2018, since you started filing in 2018. But nobody paid attention to it. And the Republicans who passed it were banking on it going into effect when a Democrat was in office, so you would blame them. Just so you're aware.